welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our season opener here of ACC. We are at round 1 at the Nurburgring. This is season 2 here for PPR. I am followed by the one and only James Trotter. How's it going tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good, my man. I am very happy to be here. I always love coming out for a little GT3 action to spice up my week, and it looks like we've got quite the banger on our hands this evening at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Can't wait to see how this goes. Sosa, we'll go on board him right here, is our fellow reigning champion from last season. Do you think he can do it again? Got a lot of quick guys coming in now for season 2 that didn't race last year. You think Sosa has what it takes to go back-to-back here and win the championship?
You know, I like Sosa, but my money would have to be on Sable. He was setting some godlike times at the end of the last season and was even on the PPR A team for the charity event that we threw at the 12 Hours of Silverstone. So he's probably my favorite to watch for sure. Yeah, there he is. He's in the McLaren 720 this year. Yeah. So I'd keep an eye on him. But, you know, I think it's a great challenge for Sosa. I don't know if he's decided to come back in the Ferrari. It looks to me like he switched over to the Porsche for this year. So interesting to see a couple changes in cars, a couple changes in the order. I think it should be a good fight.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm excited that we're kicking off at Nurburgring as well. This is by far one of my favorite tracks to catch some GT3 action. As looking at Luke Walker here, he's looking really nice. That Patronus livery that he's got going on, and that Lexus is just unbelievable. That is a sight to see. Glad to have that one out on track.
Funny, you said he's got the Patronus on his car. I'm seeing an all black Lexus. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes. Oh, unfortunately, I believe we don't have the files for the cars. But can't say on my end, that looks like a very beautiful car right there.
Very much so. It looks like Batman pulled up for the race today.
Look at current first place. That's Nicholas Gonzalez here. Getting on our feed. Followed by Luke Walker and Dan Cross there in second and third. James Warren at ninth, with the Patronus livery as well. Looking really nice. Got the number 1 on his car as well. He sets a 1:55.0 there for the current pole time. And 8 minutes left. Something that James also wanted to point out as Alex Seibel beats out his pole time there is that Mr. Warren here is trying to go a no stop in the race. He's going for the ultimate fuel saving strategy, and I don't know if it's going to work out for him today. That's going to be quite the risk, going all the way the full 90 minutes on no stops, no change of tires. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if we're going to have any other guys here in the field trying to go with that no stop.
So to accomplish the no stop, though, for a race of this kind of distance, wouldn't you pretty much have to avoid any kind of traffic at any given moment? Because if you get in a scuffle with anyone, you're going to grind very crucial rubber that you need to make last for a full 90 minutes. It seems like a very, I don't know. It just seems like kind of a tough strategy to even make work for even the smartest of drivers, unless you've got like the most delicate of touch on the steering.
Yeah, it's going to be a very conservative strategy, but definitely not something out of the realm of possibility. I won't count it out, but it's going to be hard for anyone that's looking to do that here today.
What do you think? Are you the more aggressive type when it comes to GT3 racing, or are you more the conservative type where you're looking to just kind of go for the optimal strategy?
I'm definitely going to be the more conservative type, but I also don't have the pace some of these guys in our field do. I mean, we have some very quick guys here in our ACC league, and if I was racing against these guys, I'm definitely going conservative and just trying to ink out as much lap time as I possibly can, because I know that I would be able to compete with the likes of guys like Seibel, Sosa, and a lot of our other runners, Dan Cross as well, another mention. And, I mean, really everyone in this field is going to have a decent chance this season.
Speaking of, Sable just setting the provisional pole time there. He's almost about 5/10 clear of the next fastest car, which would be Sosa in that 911. So it looks like the championship battle, the first shots are well and truly being shot across the bow there. Purple in all 3 sectors. That's incredible. He's already up 1/10 in the middle. He's up 4/10 in the first sector, and he's up a full 10th in the last sector too. So that McLaren really finding the pace today out on the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, and Seibel and Sosa had some great battles as well last season. They went back and forth, and Sosa came out on top. We'll see how that goes for them today as well. I mean, it is round 1. They're going to have a lot of races left to go this season, but undoubtedly this is going to be the key to the start, is making sure you get off very well in your very first race.
It's always good to kind of get the monkey off your back, score some points, stay out of trouble. You know, it's a bit like ripping the Band-Aid off after a nice long off season. You don't want to get a little too crazy and find yourself in the barrier on turn 1. You know, that's a great way to really set yourself up for a long way back in round 2.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm going to take a brief pause here on stream as we get our broadcasting back to work. So exit out of ACC real quick. Do apologize for any technical difficulties, folks, but should be able to bring stream up right back up in 30 seconds. But yeah, once again, I'm very excited for this race. That run up to turn 1, seeing all the cars come through the Mercedes arena. It's around turns 2 and 3. It's going to be great to see. I can't wait. And when we finally get our timing tables back up, that is great to see. Throw everything back up on screen for you guys in just a moment.
I can go ahead and give them the audio rundown if you'd like, Nick. I've got the timing sheet open right in front of me. Yeah. So right now, provisional pole is going to be Sable with a 1:53.9, which is just pipped by Van de Kolkelt in the Audi R8. Wow, I spoke too soon. Who went about 0.02 of a second faster there in the Audi R8. Behind him is Sable. Then we got Sosa P3, Walker P4, Puedes P5, Moriarty P6. Pride P7, Jay Warren P8, Trujillo in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, it is Tudes Hanna in the M6 GT3. Outside the top 10, we've got Ruiz, Dubon, Cross, Coffin, Wolf, Johnson, Wardell, Mursky, Marsh, and Gio. And from there, it kind of trails off. You're seeing time differentials about 3 to 4 seconds almost off pole. So it's pretty tight, though, in the midfield from about 8th place down to about 19th place. It's only separated by a few tenths. So the midfield battle looking very, very tight, as well as the battle at the top there between Sable and Van de Kolkelt. Forgive me, folks. Dutch is not my first language.
Yeah, Neil's there. Let's go with Niels. Yeah, Niels is doing.
Nils? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we could just go Niels. Yeah, Niels out here. Actually a part of Sidemax Motorworks is what I'm seeing here. So hats off to them, as they were also a part of our charity event a couple months ago. So shout out there. Yeah, Niels currently sitting pole, doing a great job. And only got about a minute and a half here left in qualifying. I see a few more runners get another lap in.
No surprises really as of yet.
No, top 5 is really, in comparison to what we had last season, about the same. You got Seibel there in 2nd, Sosa in 3rd, Luke Walker, Miguel Ruiz as well, rounding out 4th and 5th. So it's all about the same. It's just Niels doing a great job of barely edging out Seibel. Nils currently has a 153.9 there for his best time. Seibel as well, but Nils getting about 300ths of a second better there on Seibel. So those guys might have an interesting battle throughout the next 90 minutes here.
Yeah, it seems that Niels was able to find 3/10 in the first sector, which is pretty impressive stuff. I mean, that's pretty much, you got to like be really late on the brakes and carrying pretty decent amount of speed through most of the corners. I've always found Sector 1 at the Nurburgring to be kind of hair-raising. You know, it's kind of a weird right-left, then you're into the downhill, then you got like the hairpin at the bottom. It really is one of those. It's a very challenging track. I've always felt. I've tried to do it myself, and I'm not really a sim racer by any means. I'm pretty arcadey, and I found it to be pretty challenging. So really good on these guys to find that extra bit of performance in the cars there. I know setup for these cars isn't quite as intricate as it might be like setting up an F1 car, which has loads of aerodynamics involved. But for them, it's probably just a lot more about tire pressure, heel toe angles. I mean, you might know more about it than I do, Nick.
Yeah, and maybe I wish I did, but fairly new as well. And currently on board here with Sean Wardy's finishing off his lap here. Qualifying is over, just waiting for the last few runners to cross the line here. See if Sean can get himself into the top 5 here as he comes across the line, and not good enough as he was about a 10th off from his best time. Neil's coming across the line as well. Looks like it's just Luke Walker in the background. Doesn't look like he's setting another quick lap here. So that may be it here in qualifying, but top of the grid is going to be Nils, Seibel, followed by Sosa and Walker. We have Miguel Ruiz and Luis as well in 5th and 6th, and Sean Wardy and Christian Hanna in 7th and 8th, and Cody Pride, and our own here in PPR, James Warren, rounding out the top 10. I mean, it's going to be a stat grid. Got 31 drivers here today, so it's going to be plenty of action for the next 90 minutes here on track.
We get on board with our pole sitter here, so I got a good angle for this start. Go. Folks, if you're just joining us, we are doing a little GT3 action here this Sunday evening, live from the Nurburgring. Your hosts, PPR Nick, and I'm Best Teon. Thank you so much for tuning in if you're here. If you're new, check us out at ppresports.com. We've got racing 5 days a week. We've got F1 2020, we've got ACC, and we have also got an iRacing team. And Nick, do you want to tease maybe the new team we've got coming around the corner?
Yes, so very soon we'll be announcing the members of our Rocket League team that we have just now began putting to works. We've just gotten 3 people on board to represent PPR, so that is going to be very exciting. I'm glad to be running that as well, helping lead those guys. So that's going to be another great thing that we're bringing to PPR. Can't wait to get those guys into their first tournament and see how we can do. Got some aliens when it comes to Rocket League, I can tell you that.
You know, I've not played much Rocket League myself, but it is a very fun game to watch. It's literally soccer with cars. It's like right out of the Jeremy Clarkson's imagination.
It's almost like a Top Gear episode. Very much so. I forgot what season it was, but they had one where they all raced cars and hit a soccer ball, and it was pretty much what you'd see in Rocket League without the flying cars. But back to the GT3 racing. Who are you going to pick before we get started here? Who is your favorite for the race today?
Me, blind guess. I'm going to say Sable because he's kind of as you said so aptly yourself, he's kind of an alien when it comes to this game. You know, I don't know if it's maybe time he puts in or special attention to detail with setup or tire management, but he does put in purple sectors, you know, like pretty pretty easily, which is no easy feat on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and say Sable for the win off the front row. A dark horse, I would say maybe you could look at Ruiz or Moriarty down there, like fit P5, P7. Those guys are pretty fast. A lot of the races I covered last year, they were always in the mix. And with one of these races, turn one can usually get pretty hairy with a rolling start. People maybe carry a little too much momentum. You never know if our pole sitter here ends up sitting in the gravel trap, but let's hope that's not the case.
Yeah, the one thing, and especially for Nils, wouldn't want to wish that on anybody, but
No,
you
not at
don't
all.
want to be that one car that just gets caught out at turn one or maybe through the Mercedes arena at turns 2 and 3. You don't want to be that guy that's just going to set you back so much. But it looks like we are soon to be underway here. So just wait for all the cars to set off. We will be under green very soon, but there you have it. Got a great shot from our heli cam here. Seibel taking a little bit of a shot there. Got some cars glitching through each other. There we have it. This will be all Nils and Seibel starting us off here as they come around the final turn. That's turn 16. Finish line right ahead of them. It's currently 3:03 here in Germany, and that is a green light. And here we are for season 2, round number 1 at the Nurburgring, as all of our guys are heading down into turn number 1.
Oh, Walker's got a good run there into turn 1. Look at that.
Yeah, Walker with a great line. And that's going to be Walker up in the second. Nils doing very good. Oh, looks like we got some action off in the background. Ruiz looks like he got off just a little bit. That McLaren as well, I believe. That may have been Luke Walker. No, it wasn't. That would have been Luis Weeds. Apologies if that last name is mispronounced. But Nils getting off to a great start here. He's already nearing up what looks to be almost a second here, maybe a few 0.8 of a second now up on the, I believe that is the Lexus of Luke Walker behind him. No, I am very wrong, as it takes a minute for our timing charts to fix up. That is actually Sosa, our former champion there. And the Porsche there in second. Nicely done by
Fantastic
him.
launch. He really got didn't spin the tires at all. He got all the grip down and sent it right up the inside into turn 1. Beautiful move. Kind of caught Sable sleeping at the wheel there, honestly. I'm surprised he didn't try to cover him off.
Yeah, now Seibel's going to have to slowly inch his way back here now to Sosa. But as we all know, you can't win it here on lap 1, but it's great for track position. These guys still have 90 minutes, a little less to go, so anything's possible. And see how strategies play out for some of these guys as well. That's also going to come into play. We're about to finish the very first lap here in Germany. And that's the first lap down here in Mini. I gotta say, Nils is looking very comfortable out there at the moment. Oh, and it looks like we have another car going off here at turn 1. So getting back on. I believe that may have been Christian Hanna. He's having a little bit of an off there in the BMW. But Nils already up to a nearly 2-second gap now from Sosa. I'm starting to wonder if Nils might just run away with this in the very early stages and get himself a pretty substantial gap.
Yeah, he's kind of pulling out in front there, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's about 2 seconds ahead of Seibel at the moment. And, I mean, he's really showing that he's got quite the pace here as a battle for 4th place. 4th, 5th, and 6th really getting heated here. You got Christian Hanna there in the BMW right behind Luke Walker.
Yeah, Pride really trying to get past the BMW at this stage. He's got a straight coming up, kind of an isn't straight coming up before is that an uphill right-hander? So we'll see if he maybe get a nice slingshot into the hairpin down here if I'm reading this track map right. Oh, it's into the chicane, pardon me. You'll have to forgive me, Nick. I'm going to have to take a second here to find out what happened to my my timing thing on the left-hand side of the HUD. It just completely vanished.
That is all good. But yeah, currently here, sitting with Cody Pride is in 6th place is what I'm seeing. 5th place now is across the line. Everything resets through that 3rd sector. So yeah, Cody Pride currently there, sitting in 3rd. Sosa back into 3rd. Seibel getting that overtake done. Just missed that. Something must have gone wrong there with Sosa. He was nearly a second ahead of Seibel there. He's now back into 3rd. You got Luke Walker now sitting in 4th. Right behind them is the man, the myth, the legend in the GTR. That is Cody Pride and Christian Hanna right behind them as well. But our top runners very, very close to one another. As we take it back, James Warren, kind of see from 8th place on back. There's quite the gap going here. After 8th place, they're all really starting to break out from one another.
Look at this nice little gaggle here from about P4 down to P6. We're getting real close. Hanna having a look up the inside there. Probably not going for him though. That GTR Pride really doing well to cover off the BMW.
Yeah, doing a great job. I mean, Walker, Pride, Hanna, and you got Sean Morardi as well, shortly followed behind them. These guys look to all be having a little bit of similar pace here. See if anyone can really break out a gap to one another. At this stage in the race, you're not really trying to shoot for overtakes, but you definitely don't want to be stuck behind a guy who is much slower than you pace. But at the moment, it looks like these guys are really just starting to tag along one another and see how it plays out strategy-wise between each other.
Yeah, so it looks like running down the order here. Niels in first, followed by Sable, Sosa, and Walker. Pride up to P5, Tudes up to P6. And it looks like Ruiz really fell down the order. You said he went off the track, correct?
Yeah, I believe that was Ruiz that had a little unfortunate escape into the grass and gravel pit there off of turn number 2. So he's fallen all the way back into 12th.
As Martin Brundle says, just ran out of talent.
That could be the truth there. As Luke Walker looks like he's under attack right now from Cody Pride. Cody Pride might be looking for an overtake here. Maybe he thinks he can get around Luke Walker and advance his way up to the likes of Sosa and Seibel up there. But at the moment, these guys running in 4th all the way to 7th are in quite the cluster of cars. I wonder if Cody Pride has the urge here to look for a move around Luke Walker in front of him.
What do you think, Nick? Is track position more important than kind of just getting like the pedal down here and kind of bump drafting your opponents along, or do you want to try and go for the overtakes early? Because if these like 5 guys work together, they can actually catch back up to the top 3 here instead of fighting each other if they really want to, right?
Yeah, well, and it's an interesting position too. I mean, you still got an hour and 20 left. Definitely not a long time, but it's not a short time either. So
Very
these
true.
guys, if they know the guy in front of them, they're running similar pace. There's really no reason to push the issue quite yet, but if you feel like you got a good 3 to 4 tenths on that guy, you're gonna have to maybe look for a move. But at the moment, I don't see that happening with any of these guys, as Luke Walker looks to really be setting the standard here for them. And you got Sosa in 3rd and Seibel up here in 2nd, slowly catching up to Niels. Niels didn't necessarily do the breakaway I thought he was going to do, as it's been about a 1.5 to 2 seconds between him and Seibel there. And and Sosa as well, about 2 seconds off as well. So, but at the moment, yeah, 4th through 7th, looking very closely contested. Cody Pride, though, I wonder if he's being a little bit too anxious here. And it looks like he's starting to maybe go for at least that last turn, maybe a misopportunist of a move, maybe making a few little mistakes here. I think if he keeps it clean, he can definitely get past Luke Walker.
I think he's grinding his rubber at the moment, too. He's gone deep into 2 corners now, it seems. But, oh, he's got the slipstream here, maybe with the move. Walker's going to cover him off to the right. Pride's going to tuck back in. No move there, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, I know these guys can run a lot closer since they're, they're not open-wheeled cars. You see, Pride almost drifted around that corner there. That was fun driving for sure. But shouldn't he kind of be if it's an hour and a half race, he's probably thinking about his tires at this point, maybe. I know you want to get the move done, but I guess he's being pressured from behind, isn't he, as well? Tude's now really much back in the mix here.
Yeah, and it's an interesting spot to be in. Yeah, you got Tude's right there behind Pride, and Pride's kind of in a little bit of a sandwich. And it looks like Luke Walker now is starting to gain up just a little bit on him.
Yeah, I certainly don't envy Pride. I would not want to be in his shoes right now.
Definitely not. Now we look towards the back of our grid as well. We got Dan Cross and Henry Wardell very close to one another there in 15th and 16th, with Alex Trujillo there in the Lexus 17th. And actually, looking at Henry Wardell here, he might have a move on Dan Cross. We go side by side going down turn 1, and it looks like Dan Cross might lose out on that position. Yes, he is, and that is going to be 15th for Henry Wardell. I have to be careful. We got Alex Trujillo as well right behind them. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex Trujillo.
I was going to say, I think you would have your lap chart just a touch off there. It looks like Trujillo got the move done on Wardell.
And it was, Trujillo on Wardell, as I call it, and then completely mispronounce it. But yeah, that's a good move there by Trujillo. We'll take it back to our runners. And close to the top of the grid through 4th through 7th, these guys still get some great action going. No one quite yet making a move on each other. Luke Walker, though, looks like he's starting to extend his gap out just a little bit from these guys. See if he can maybe break out from the people behind him and see if he can create his own gap. Sosa, though, quite a ways away at the moment. Sosa's 3 seconds ahead there from Walker in 4th. But I gotta say, these guys are probably very happy that their first race of the season is starting off in dry conditions. As I go down here to Spencer Marsh in 12th. He's slowly been creeping up here on Eric Debon. Debon there in the Lamborghini.
The number 69 Lamborghini, to be exact.
Yes, the number 69 Lamborghini.
Warren kind of fell down the order here about a couple positions. Not a great start for him at all, really.
Yeah, Warren, after starting 10th, got himself up into 8th and is now falling back to 13th. Gotta wonder if he had some sort of small mistake going on. As it doesn't seem that there's really any damage on that car, so maybe just a mistake on his end, as yeah, he's now back there in 13th, but definitely plenty of time to work himself back up and through the grid. We also have another battle here from 9th. That's Miguel Ruiz and BDG Gio as well. Gio there in the Porsche, Ruiz and the BMW. We'll apologize for Ruiz. Looks like we didn't get his livery in. So I apologize to him for that. I believe I had all of them. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like I did. So Ruiz will have yours in for next week, next Sunday.
Looks like Ruiz is really getting on the back of Gio now. Yeah,
really starting to push the tempo here. These got anything going for him. Looks like he's starting to fall back just a little bit. It actually looks like Cody Pride as well, and Hannah. Hannah actually might be under pressure here from Morardi as well. These guys yet really have anything going for him. And then back to Shield and Gail Ruiz as well. It's a lot harder to set up moves in these cars. It takes some time to really build it up, and unless the guy in front of you makes a mistake, you're working pretty hard to get an overtake done on the guy sitting in front of you.
Not to mention the fact the braking zones are so long that realistically, once you've kind of chosen your line, going for a late lunge, you know, you don't really have the braking power of like a high downforce car to kind of help stop you. You'll just fly past the apex, and that's that. Could ruin your whole race in an instant if you're a little too greedy.
Yeah, that's very true. These guys definitely have to be careful with when and where they make their lunge attempts, their overtakes. But at the moment, looks like everything's really starting to calm down here. We're 15 minutes in.
Nice little train here down from Walker down to Moriarty, though. These guys have not kind of like separated at all. They're like magnets at the moment. Moriarty getting a great slipstream there off the back of Tudes.
Yeah, these guys have been just front wing to rear wing this whole time and not really giving up an inch. None of them are making any moves on each other. They're keeping relatively a very cool, calm, and collected pace altogether. But you got to wonder how much longer that's going to last here.
Well, they could be on for an overcut if these four, you know, cooperate. They might find themselves fighting for the podium at the end of this.
See, and that is very true. All it takes too is just a mistake from one of the guys in front. Speaking of guys in front, we look at Niels here. It looks like Seibel now has caught up to Niels. I wonder if he's going to be looking for an overtake, maybe himself. He's slowly starting to creep up on Seibel. It's taking him about the past 3 to 4 laps to do so, but he's edging out about a tenth or two every lap now here on Niels.
By my calculations, if there's only one mandatory pit stop, you know, do you even want to burn the time getting fresh tires? I mean, you said it yourself, some guys are going to go for like the no tire change, just go for the fuel.
Yeah, well, so in my talks with James Warren, obviously James Warren, one of our admin and really one of the directors here for our ACC leagues, was telling me that he was looking to go for a no stop today. So I don't believe there's a mandatory stop at all this afternoon. However, I could be wrong about that. But speaking of James Warren, the way he was talking about his strategy, how he wanted to play out today as the 13th was that he wasn't stopping for fuel or tires. He's going to a full fuel load, and he's just going really conservative, trying to save as much as he can and go to the end. But tire wear here, I mean, guys could double stint on their tires to make that work. I mean, it is viable. It just depends on how much that tire life we have left for the second half. And it looks like Cody Pride is finally maybe looking to get a move. He came around 15 and 16 there. He's going to have a good run on Luke Walker at turn 1. They got a back marker, it looks like.
Yep, that'd be Aaron going slow.
Yeah, you see Pride looking there at turn 1, but just not having it yet. Oh, but it looks like Luke Walker might have gone a little too deep. Cody Pride is going to try to take a different line here, get a little bit more speed off the apex of turn 2 as they come in to 3 and 4. Oh man, and Cody Pride is really starting to gain up here on Luke Walker. Luke Walker's going to have to be careful because Cody Pride might make that lunge now on the Lexus as they pull up around now to turn 6 and then 7.
Walker defending for his life, Jesus.
Walker really is. I mean, Pride is all on the back of him now. He hasn't been this close so far in the race, and they got to be careful too. They got Tudes as well right behind them in that BMW, so if these guys aren't careful, if Pride's not careful, they could both lose a spot to the guys behind him. Can't kind of outshot Mirardi as well, and we're slowly getting Luis Weeds behind them as well, so this is starting to shake up into a pretty interesting battle here in the top 10.
Jeez, that Beamer is just right there. Tudes, he really wants to get by Pride.
Yeah, there's really nothing to give here. I mean, you see how close it is on track, that these guys are starting to force the issue just a little bit more. Not as conservative as they were when the race had just began. Now coming through the pain of turns 14 and 15 and around 16. Completing another lap here. That last lap there for Pride was a 56.8. Luke Walker 0.3 up, so still looking like he has a little bit more pace there, but Cody Pride is a man on a mission, it looks like, here at the moment.
And GTR is deadly in a straight line too.
Yeah, it definitely has the pace over the Lexus. I believe the straight line speed is faster there than that Lexus. But as we kind of said, the first 20 minutes here is, if they're going to make the move, how are they going to do it? It doesn't look like Cody Pride is yet to have an answer there for Luke Walker. Luke Walker doing a great job of just keeping it calm, holding his line, and not really getting shaken up too much by the train of 3 cars right behind him. He's sort of become the hunted here, even though he only sits in 4th place.
He's got a great run through here now, though. Look at this.
Yeah, and it looks like he might get it done here. Maybe he's going to make a lunge. Oh, it looks like there's a little bit of a tap there on the back of Walker, but no harm really doing. Let's take a close look here to Seibel. Seibel's also making a run on Niels. And we'll go back down to Walker. Walker got action unfolding here. Walker's doing a good job of holding up Pride. Pride now have to be wary of Tudes right behind him. Oh, and it looks like Tudes might get a good run here. Pride did not get the greatest exit out of 16. He might lose the spot. They're now making it a drag race down to turn at number 1, and that looks like it's a drag race that the BMW of Tudes is going to win. Pride not trying to make another attempt, it looks like, for an overtake.
What a cruel twist of fate.
Yeah, Cody Pride was working so hard the past few laps to get around Luke Walker and just gets one bad exit there. Oh, but he makes contact with Tudes and really has to back off now.
Lighten up those rear tires every time there's a weight transfer.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be careful now of how hard he pushes. He doesn't want those tires to fall off too soon. But take it up here to the battle for the race lead. Seibel's getting very pushy here on Niels. Wonder how much longer this battle's going to go on. If Seibel has anything in that McLaren to get past the Audi of Niels in front of him.
I think these guys are both smart enough to know they just need to let the race come to them. There's no need to fight now. It's so early it's only 23 minutes down of a 90-minute race.
Yeah, they got about a 4 to 5 second gap at the moment on Sosa there in 3rd. Sosa really just driving a very lonely race at the moment. He hasn't had too much behind him, too much in front of him. He's kind of just holding off everyone.
Probably telling his engineer to hydrate on the pit wall.
Maybe so. I wouldn't doubt it. Let's take a look back here at our battle between 4th through 7th. Looks like Luke Walker now starting to get a little more outside here. Oh, but it looks like Cody Pride might have to be careful. He's got Sean Moriarty down the inside of him at turn 1, and that's Sean Moriarty now in the first place. Cody Pride has now lost 2 positions and 2 laps at the same spot on track.
And Moriarty licked the stamp there.
Oh, yeah, he licked it and sent it in the mail. Put himself into 6th place. Cody Pride in that GTR, though, definitely at this stage in the race not looking good. He's losing positions. See if he can battle back here with these guys and see if Moriarty and Toots might have their own little scrap here. This has all been good, though, for Luke Walker. Luke Walker extending his gap to about a second from these guys. That is very good for him and his Lexus.
Juarez coming up behind right now, though. He's lapping a whole second faster than Cody Pride.
Yeah, and what is
spin? We got a spin. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Back marker. That'd be BDG Aaron doing a 360 there on the back straight. Really not been his day, has it?
No, that is unfortunate for him. As BDG Aaron, yeah, sits back there in 27th for the Aaron is a boss team. Unfortunately, not looking so much like a boss at the moment, but maybe he can climb his way back up as he currently sits in 27th position there.
Jay Warren here looks like he's trying to go for the overtake on Marsh.
Yeah, James Warren still sitting in 13th place. Just running mid-pack here, Spencer Marsh in 12th in the Audi.
Ooh, Pride's having a look at Moriarty now. To try to take it around the outside there. He's going to try to switch back on him, but Moriarty's going to just cover him off going into the hairpin. Guess Pride has not given up the fight, has he?
No, he is not. It looks like he might get it back here. Oh, he looks on the inside, throws the dummy. I don't know if he's going to have enough, though, on the outside. To see maybe if he can get a better line. No, he can't. So he's still going to be back there in 7th from Moriarty. Already just barely holding them off there, but this is helping out Toots and Luke Walker in front. Those guys are starting to extend their gap from the 6th and 7th place drivers. But Luke Walker still has Toots in his sights right behind him. They're sitting in 5th place. I wonder if Toots might be able to make a run here now on Luke Walker. Luke Walker has defended fairly well throughout the first half an hour here in the race, so can't imagine he's going to let off for anyone else, especially that BMW Toots behind him.
These two keeping it relatively quiet, huh?
As I take it back to Spencer Marsh and James Warren. James Warren looked like he was going to go for a lunge at turn 16. That might have just ruined his run that he might have got if he just kept a normal line through 16. Looked like he might have gotten a good run there on Spencer Marsh. Maybe a little bit too anxious trying to go for a move there at 16. Not really anywhere to do it at, but he tried and unfortunately failed. That helps with Cody Johnson there in 14th. Cody Johnson starting to reel himself back into this fight as well, in the middle of the field in the last few points paying positions in the race.
Warren coming under pressure from Johnson now.
Yeah, Cody Johnson there's great job this lap here in the Aston Martin. Gotta wonder if he's going to be able to start building up an overtake here on James Warren. The last thing James Warren wants to do is lose another position on track as he sees Spencer Marsh start just bridging out that gap once again in front of him. Back at our leaders for a brief second. Niels is slowly starting to inch his way away from Seibel once again. Sosa in third. Not too much going on for him. And then you got Luke Walker and Toots in fourth and fifth. And we're already in Pride as well. Starting to catch back up to that group as well. But now half an hour in, 3:33 p.m. What are your thoughts here, James, after the first half hour of this race?
It's a slow burner, you know.
And as
everyone's
I cut
following.
You off, actually, we got Cody Johnson going down the inside. Or excuse me, that was Dan Cross going down the inside and getting an overtake there. Done, and it looks like he's gonna do it again on Cody Johnson. Dan Cross really pushing that Beamer. Oh, but he's gonna lose out. Can he hold his line here on Cody Johnson? These guys nearly went 3 wide into turn 1. Oh, and Dan very careful there not to clip the back of that Aston Martin. That could have been very dangerous for him. Very smooth and smart from him as he falls back into 15th, but as I was asking you your thoughts on the race, James, it unfolded just a little bit here with Dan Cross, and he's really pushing the action.
Yeah, look at that. Cody Johnson putting 2 wheels on the curb trying to go up the inside of Marsh there. This little midfield battle really spiced up all of a sudden. They might have heard us talking some trash.
Maybe. I mean, it's really spiced it up here between Cody Johnson, Spencer Marsh, and Dan Cross.
This Aston just find the pace all of a sudden. It looked pretty calm, and it looks like he just turned the engine up all of a sudden.
Yeah, and unfortunately I was calling Cody Johnson Dan Cross there for a minute as really getting used to my timing boards and how I've been a little bit slower than usual. It's been almost every 2 seconds of getting updates, but yes, that was Cody Johnson there really forcing the issue there on Spencer Marsh and Dan Cross as well.
That will put Marsh still P13, Warren up to P12 then. He's got to be happy about that.
Yeah, slowly starting to make ways, little strides up the rest of the grid.
But yeah, as I was saying, it's a bit of a slow burner, I think. You know, it's 90-minute races. You're not going to see a lot of people pushing too hard. You know, they're going to want to use the slipstream to their advantage and keep the train moving, because my experience, the last like 20 minutes of these races get real hairy. That's when like you see people getting punted off, and that's when you see like crazy overtakes happen, or you know, that because then all of a sudden, you know, the chips are down. It's time to start seeing if we can make some points back. But you know, for the time being, it's just going to really come down to strategy and playing track position. You know, unless you're in a position like I'm on board with Sean Moriarty right now. You know, a guy like him, if you're within like that, you know, 8-7 tenths to the car in front, you might as well try to send the move up. You're so close. You might reach out and touch their rear bumper. I don't see any harm in that, but you got a car maybe 1-2 seconds in front of you. It might be better to back off and try your best to try and just put in good lap times, you know?
Yeah, it's really starting to push it here on Toots. Not sure if he's gonna have anything for him here. Nice little view of the onboard. Make their run up to turn number 1. Yeah, I don't expect these guys to really separate whatsoever throughout the entirety of this race. It's really all going to come down to strategy. If all 4 of these guys are running the same strategy, I'm expecting, as you said, those last 20 minutes when it really starts to get hectic on track, that these guys will really start battling it out. I mean, they've showed a little bit to one another, but not too much quite yet.
Optimal pit strategy would be what, like in about 10 minutes time?
Yeah, if they wanted to just split it half and half, do a 45 and 45. But it all depends how these guys set their fuel loads to begin the race, whether or not they want to take another set of tires, what their degradation is going to look like. So, I mean, it's really all up to what the driver's been doing, how they've been pushing the cars and maintaining their fuel loads.
Yeah, the front rights must be getting punished around here.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll really start to see the next 10 to 15 minutes whether or not these guys are, maybe some of them, like all I've known is that James Warren is going till the end on his, but maybe some of these guys here in this battle are as well. But
Moriarty getting an incredible run up the hill right now, by the way. He's having to look at Toots. Toots trying to cover him off. Moriarty had a thought about the dive, but how are the cars able to get such a launch out of that back straight? It's incredible.
Yeah, well, what I've been told is if you put your right foot on the gas pedal, the car will go exceptionally fast. That is something
Wow.
I have been told.
You should. That's a pro tip, man. You shouldn't be screaming that on the airwaves. You might be giving away some free advice.
I mean,
We got. Oh, I was gonna say we got Ruiz in for his stop. And we got Warda in there for his as well. So is Ruiz the first to pit? I believe I haven't seen anyone else dive in at any moment really.
I believe for anyone that's on their original strategy, I believe Ruiz is gonna be our first guy to come in here, going for an earlier stop. See how that works out for him.
Perhaps looking for the undercut.
Probably possibly trying to get on some fresh tires. But I mean, it all depends. He could just be going in for fuel and keeping on the same tires. But yeah, the strategy between these guys are differing. I mean, so much that you won't really know until the ending stages of this race who really has played it right, who's dealt their cards and been able to push the maximum out their car while planning everything accordingly to the 90 minutes that they have given to them during the race.
Speaking of optimal strategies, by the way, it looks to me as though Sable has taken P1 from Niels.
Yeah, Sable has. Sable actually is just about a second and a half behind starting this lap. I'm wondering what has happened here with Niels. These guys are also getting really close to one another. So, yeah, it looks like Sable has finally got that position for the race lead and really starting to take advantage of it here from Niels as well. Another thing, too, with these endurance races, you always got to take into account is fatigue. I always say the driver's not physically in the car, but still behind the rigs. You start to sweat a little bit, your hands start to get a little bit numb from your wheel, and that can really play a huge factor. The longer you're behind your rig and the longer you're fighting your way around this track.
What's the old trick? Turn your force feedback down 50% for endurance races.
Yeah, unfortunately for some really need that force feedback. And I mean, it depends on what sim you're playing as well. I mean, here with ACC, I tend to keep mine up relatively high for my standards, I would say. But I mean, it's really to each their own in the setup they have as well. I'm just really amazed between this battle that we've been watching. Majority of the race between Luke Walker all the way down to Cody Pride at the moment. These guys have not given up. Sean Moriarty, though, is looking maybe like the more aggressive of the bunch at the moment because he has really been trying to plot a move here on Toots in front of him.
Shout out to our boy Charles Martin. Thank you for the compliment in the chat, buddy.
And we should also say as well, thank you to everyone who's currently tuning in. I mean, spending a little bit of your Sunday afternoon or Sunday night wherever you are in the world. Watching a little bit of PPR action here for our ACC round 1 here. We greatly appreciate all of the viewership.
Dude's really creeping on the back of Walker now.
Yeah, Walker is got another guy trying to come at him. He's done a good job though of holding 4th position. See if he can do it again here. Maybe if Toots can get the best of him. Toots definitely not in position to make a move here though. Coming at turn 1. He's gonna look at it, but definitely not within striking distance. Already though on the back of Toots as well, so Toots gonna have to be careful. He maybe gets a little bit too anxious here trying to get something around Walker. He could easily lose it out to Sean Moriarty there in the Audi.
I was going to say, as we saw earlier in the race, this is probably the last place you want to be. If you look what happened to Pride, it could very well happen to Toots. You don't want to be the one getting chewed up and spit out by the lead group and end up being the trailing car, as it were. And Audi, wow, really Moriarty almost sent it into the bumper there,
Moriarty,
too.
As I was talking about Toots maybe being a little bit too anxious, Moriarty really getting a near full sin there. That could have been, if he got any bit of that wrong, he could have been into the grass, but way to keep the car stuck on track and still trying to fight his way here. Unfortunately for Cody, probably looks like he's starting to fall back just a little bit, but with these guys fighting in front of him, no doubt that he'll have a fine job of catching back up. As I look down now to Spencer Marsh, him and Cody Johnson having a little bit of a battle going on. James Warren back up in the 10, so he's broken off from this scrap that we've been keeping an eye on as well.
What do you think, Nick? Do you prefer mid-engine in ACC, or do you prefer having the front-engine car?
It's relatively speaks on what track, but I'm usually mid-engine for mid-engine cars instead of the front. I just feel like I'm a little bit faster. I feel like I have a little bit more control. But it's really, it's to each their own on that one. Some guys will tell you're crazy if you want front. Some guys will tell you're crazy for mid. I mean, it's a debate to be had, but one that some people will have some very strong opinions about. That's for sure. It looks like Nils now has hopped into the pits, so that promotes Luke Walker and Toots and Moriarty and all the ones behind him as well. Up one position. Toots starting to get a good run here though on Walker. Wonder if this may be the lap that he takes his chance.
The Beamer just doesn't have the straight line speed really to get it done. He's just stuck in limbo between slipstreaming and almost passing him or on the back bumper, but he just doesn't really have the launch out of the corners that maybe Walker has with that Lexus.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what it's looking like at the moment. And also speaking, I wonder if we're going to see maybe a stop now from Seibel to just pair himself with Niels, or if Seibel's going to go a little bit longer here until his stop. See what those guys do up front, as well as Sosa. And you got to think as well, with Luke Walker, Toots, Moriarty, and even Cody Pride still there in the background, when are these guys going to come in for their stops reaching the halfway mark? So I got to think that one of these guys, if not maybe more, is going to come in for their stop very soon.
And that certainly that will cause probably a chain reaction down the midfield. Ooh, Moriarty really having a look. So if you're Toots and you really can't catch him up on the straights and you need to get time back in the corners, do you maybe try to move your brake bias a little farther forward, or maybe open up the diff a little more, give a little more oversteer and try to corner a little faster? Or do you just kind of keep doing what you're doing and hope Walker makes a mistake?
No, he's most likely just going to keep doing what he's doing. I'm not going to doubt that he has that car set up to how he wants it to be. He's chosen, I believe they all got to choose the cars that they ran this season as well. So, I mean, he's got it to his liking. It's just all about finding the opportune time to make a move. I mean, he's doing a great job of keeping up with Walker, not making any mistakes. Walker as well has been doing a great job of maintaining his pace just to keep Toots out of striking distance. Toots, though, is getting very close. He's just going to have to really calculate when he wants to make this move, because if it goes wrong for him, he's got two guys right behind him who can get him as well, and he'll find himself, instead of fighting for third place here on track at the moment, prior to their stops, maybe back in at the 6.
Good point. And he has done a very, very admirable job sticking right back there. You know, that staking that close in the slipstream for this many laps is that's a talent in and of itself when it comes to racing. That's just kind of a racecraft thing. It's not really something you can kind of learn in 5 minutes. That's just years and years of feel and understanding exactly how not to brake too late and shunt the guy in front of you off into the barrier.
Yeah, definitely is. It looks like Paul Couch there back in 18th now is also coming into the pit. See if we might get any of these runners now coming in, or if they're all going to stay out once again. They're getting really close. Marty, Pride, and Toots. And yeah, it looks like Toots there hopping into the pits.
Well, there you have it. Neil's coming out in P13, it would seem. Looks like Coffin still has to pit. Freddie still has to pit, so he's kind of driving his own race at the moment. Sable, go back on board with him. I can find him. Still out on the course, it would seem. So it looks like he's going to try to make the strategy work for him and just pull out some kind of gap.
Yeah, halfway through, yeah, Seibel sitting in first. You got Sosa too. Sosa's in the pits at the moment. See where he comes out in retrospect to Niels. Niels had about 6 to 7 seconds there on Sosa before his stop. So see how that has played out for Niels and Sosa at this point on track, because looking at Sosa at the moment.
Same here. Yeah, he's got the pit limiter on here now. Let's see, P11 has the undercut or the overcut worked. Let's see.
And it looks like Niels is going to be definitely ahead there of Sosa, so not going to worry.
Yeah,
about
by a
him
landslide.
Yeah, Niels definitely pushing that car to perfection after that stop. So yeah,
I'm sure he got the radio call. Push, push. Time to go.
Definitely. So now it's going to be up. We got to see where Seibel comes out, and these midfield runners as well, because you still got Luke Shamarardi and Cody Pride all looking to come in their stop. So maybe Toots made a good bet as well coming in prior to any of the guys that he was fighting with. So this is where everything's going to start shaking up. This is probably where everything starts to get a little bit more exciting on track as well.
Sable's opted to stay out again. Moriarty into the pits now,
Yeah,
followed by Connor Pride.
Yeah, so both those guys coming in. Luke Walker looking like he's going to extend. So yeah, we'll see how this works for these guys. I'm going to say Luke's probably going to lose out some time here if he goes for tires and fuel. We see both Moriarty and Cody Pride entering their boxes. But so far, I got to say, Seibel's done a great job there in first. Still got his pit stop coming up, as we said before, but looks like it might be a battle between him and Niels going till the very end of the race, unless maybe someone like Sosa in the background can really put on a charge here in the last about 40 minutes. Like Marsh as well. Marsh coming into the pits there. He was sitting 8th place. See where he comes out.
I'm on Sable watch right now. He's still out. He's coming up to the last sector here, though, so we'll see if he decides to pit or continues to extend. And he seems he is diving into the pits. Sable's going in.
Yep, so we'll see now. It's going to be on the watch here for Niels. Niels just coming around through sector 1. See if he's going to be able to pass Seibel here. or if Seibel going to come on front. I'm going to take the guess here that Niels is going to come ahead of Seibel after this stop. But
oh, he does have the trouble because he is racing for position against Coffin at the moment.
That is very true. He does have Matt Coffin in the Lamborghini in front of him.
So Coffin is not duty bound to get out of the way. He can fight him all he wants.
And you're very right about that. Coffin not putting in the greatest of lap times either compared to Niels. It looks like Niels might get this move done here. Gonna have to be careful. Don't want
Drag
any
race
mistakes here. Exactly. It looks like Niels made that fairly easy around Coffin.
And Niels coming around the final turn here. Let's see. Sable still in the pits. Can he get out in time?
It looks like he's exiting right now, and then we should see Niels pop up here on screen very shortly.
Ooh, it's going to be very close. Wow, look at that. So it looks as though the undercut was the call to make.
Yeah, but with Seibel staying out there about an extra 6 to 7 minutes, he's going to have a little bit more within those tires. So see how this plays out. He started showing towards the end of the stint that he had the better pace than Niels. So that could be the case come the last few minutes of the race, maybe the last 10 minutes, that Niels doesn't have the pace to match Seibel, and Seibel comes back at him. But we also have to see, as I said before, you got James Warren now up into third place there in the Lexus. You got Luke Walker still out there as well in his Lexus, and BDG Geo in the Porsche in second.
I'll love to see if the Lexus master plan will in fact come into play.
We will have to see how these guys can do in their Lexuses. But yeah, Luke Walker staying out still. So maybe he's trying to do the same that James Warren is doing. I mean, both those guys rocking that Petronas livery, and maybe on the same strategy as well. Maybe trying to push Hill in and just on mega fuel conservation mode. But if that's the case, James Warren's going to have to be careful because he's got Niels charging up at him there in fourth place.
Gio's going to go into the pits here. Yeah, Jay Warren doing about a 156, and Niels is lapping about a second faster. So that overcut might not be the optimal strategy after all.
Yeah, Niels right there was about 0.6 faster than James Warren. But the thing is, Niels, even when he catches up to James Warren, he's still going to make the pass on him. So we'll see. Maybe James Warren tries to defend for his life and make his master plan work. Because at the moment, him and Luke Walker are doing an exceptional job there in first and second in those Lexuses.
Oh yeah, let's do the math. It's about 2 minutes around a lap here, 38 minutes to go. So you're looking at about 19 laps. And the gap between Warren to Niels is probably what? Unfortunately, I don't have my let me get my timing sheet open here. That would be gap is, let's see. Okay, they're going through the sector timing right now. Niels is about 13 seconds back, so he's got 19 laps to make up 13 seconds on fresher rubber. So that's his. If your Amazon Web Services chance of an overtake, I would say, are good.
Yeah, because James Warren last lap did a 56.5, and then you take it on board here with Niels, so everyone can see his lap time as well. He did a 55.4, so he's lapping pretty well here against James.
If he's taken half a second out of him, 13 laps.
Well,
13 seconds.
He's taken nearly a second out here, so I'm not doubting that he's going to be able to catch up to James Warren very quickly.
Ooh, that's a good point. So we might just see the overtake happen here in about maybe 10, 15 minutes time, according to our very advanced algorithm called
PPR math.
Spitballing.
And you also have to worry too. You got Seibel in the background as well. Seibel in fourth, but he's at the moment lapping faster than Niels as well. Niels last lapped at 55.5. Seibel did a 54.8. coming out of the pits as well. That does
He
have
is
to be said.
flying.
First lap out of the pits, so we'll see how this works. That was also Seibel's fastest lap of the race as well. I believe
Yes,
that's the fastest lap after
Seibel really closed up
any
on
driver.
Niels. Yeah, that's incredible. I told you he was fast.
I never for a second doubted it.
But look at these guys. Oh, they are flying. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that master plan to overcut now, because that second to slower a lap is just so. It's like I can't see how that's the optimal strategy, really.
See, we got a battle here with Sosa and Sean Morardi. Oh no, Sosa's made a little bit of touch there with Sean. Oh, that was dangerous. Both guys look to be okay, however.
Yeah, let me get on board here and see if
going
we've got
off
any
track.
damage.
Yeah, just looked like a little bit of touch. Both guys losing a little bit of the back end there, however, keeping it on track. Sosa backed off the move, let Morardi keep the position, but Sosa's going to come right back on it. Sosa definitely looks to have the pace advantage right now over Sean Morardi, but he's going to have to get the move cleanly done if he wants to keep it, because
That Porsche is so twitchy through the S. Jeez.
yeah, Sosa really pushing that Porsche.
I just saw that braking zone. I felt it on my chest. Slamming on him right there. Now the downhill to the uphill here. Let's see if he can't get a good run on Moriarty. Looks like Moriarty's just going to stay in front, though. It's not going to cover him off at all. No need to go defensive here. Into the chicane. I'd say that's no hassle at all.
Yeah, Morardi looks like he's got it covered off right now. See if Sosa can get a good run here out of 16. You see how much later he is on the brakes.
Whoa, look at
16.
that, drifting. Drifting through the corner. Alexa, play the Teriyaki Boys.
Sosa opting to get a little bit of the inside line there. That was nearly going to go wrong for both those drivers. Luckily, they're both getting it going. You got Matt Coffin as well there in fifth. He's in the pits, so that's going to promote Morardi and Sosa up a spot. Take it back
Coffin
here.
really just floating around out there for a while.
He really is. And you take it back, too, with Niels and Seibel now, who are in third and fourth, respectively. Seibel is starting to make a charge on Niels. I wonder if Niels is...
He's nearly
starting to feel
9/10
that
quicker a
pressure.
lap. Niels' last 155.4, Sable's last 154.5. So McLaren's got the pace advantage at the moment.
Yeah, and once again, Seibel's putting in another fastest lap of the race. His previous was a 54.8, did a 54.5 there lap. So that's 0.3 faster. That's nearly half a second faster than Niels' fastest lap that he's put in the entire race. So wonder if Niels maybe is conserving a little bit here and Seibel's pushing maybe a little too soon. We'll have to see, because we've still got another half hour coming up here left in the race. And this is going to be the battle for the podium spots as well. If Luke Walker and James Warren have anything to say about it as they sit first and second in those Lexuses.
They're kind of reeling him in, though. I mean, Niels is now pretty much on the same leg, rung of the ladder, if you will, of the track now. Warren really doesn't have the pace at the moment. I mean, you want to compare, he's almost a full second slower. And light fuel load or not, the rubber is just not letting him, go deeper into the corners and, accelerate well. Niels and Sable probably going to, just on tire advantage alone, I don't see how they don't overtake him in the next, 15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll see. Yeah, James Warren, those tires are just not going to have the optimal grip that he's going to want now, coming with half an hour to go. But who knows what he has in him, what type of defensive skills he has. These guys, they still got to catch him. They're doing a great job so far, but it is not over until the checkered flag. So at the moment, James Warren maybe praying that he can capture a podium here, but at the moment looks like he's got two very competitive and fast drivers charging his way.
Well, if I could be so bold, I think Walker might really have a long shot chance at a podium here, even if he does get passed by his two by Niels and by Sable, he still has just enough of a cushion to Warren where he might actually make this work. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but he's got a pretty substantial gap.
He does. He's got the gap to do it, but it's gonna be, does he have the tire life to do it?
That's
true. The tire
true.
is gonna keep up these lap times that he's putting in. Because I mean, you look at the moment, him and James Warren are putting almost an identical lap time, 56.4 and 56.4 for both of them respectively on their last lap. So they're doing a good job, and just James Warren maybe not having the greatest start there, the first half hour falling back, that could cost him out here in the later stages of the race, that he just didn't get as good of a start that he may have needed.
Yeah.
Whereas Luke Walker did a great job. We saw him for the majority of this race in the stream holding off the likes of Toots and Cody Pride as they were trying to overtake him for position on track.
And that kind of goes back to the track position argument earlier we were talking about. It is so crucial in these cars. And now, very much so, Niels has actually got Jay Warren in visual sight now. They're not just on the same rung. They're actually on almost in the same corner. If you go on board with Niels, you can actually see that stricken Lexus kind of limping around on the dead rubber, and Niels is reeling him in pretty rapidly now. So maybe you were right that lack of grip is very much coming into play, and still a half hour to go.
Yeah, you can see as they make their way around turn number 8 that, yeah, Niels is really starting to pull in that gap, but so is Seibel behind Niels. So this is going to get very interesting very soon with how these guys are going to compete with one another here on track, because if Seibel gets up to Niels before Niels can get a move here on James Warren, things could get very interesting.
Well, if we've learned anything in the last 2 weeks in motor racing, things can get really crazy in the last 3 laps.
Oh, that is very true. I'll take
Hopefully these tires, are these tires sponsored by Pirelli?
That is a great question. I definitely believe they are running Pirellis.
Be a real shame.
If they're not, because then we're going to
Be a real shame if tires just started blowing out left and right. That'd be a real shame.
As I was taking a look back here at Sean Merari, looks like he's starting to hold off Sosa now. Sosa not looking like the driver we saw in the first part of the race. He was kind of just on an isolation island out there. He's now fallen back in 6th and has been having quite a hard time trying to get past Merari. But here comes Alexander Seibel in the McLaren. He has got it all in front of him now. Got to make it past Niels, and that's going to be a podium spot, and he's still got 2 Alexis's in front of him of James Warren and Luke Walker. Seibel, these last 30 minutes, this is going to be his battle for a race win. But he's got to get past the fastest driver next to him on track, and that is Niels.
This is the battle we've kind of been waiting for. We're finally about to get it. It looks.
Yeah, it's. Seibel's done it once already in the race. He's got to do it twice. Let's see if Niels is going to have anything for him this time around.
It was like, is that number in parentheses? That's their fuel load, correct? Or is that something else? I actually don't know.
Depending on how you have your HUD set up, unfortunately, the way we show here on the screen with the broadcasting, we don't see any of the fuel, but we might be able to take it on board here and see if we can catch the fuel load of these guys. However, I don't believe we'll be able to. We get a nice little back shot here from Niels in his Audi, and he's got Seibel right behind him. That McLaren really pushing momentum at the moment. But it doesn't look like Seibel's
Gap's negligible. Gap is so negligible at this point.
Yeah, and as you see it, Seibel only a 10th faster now this lap, so you really see how this battle is starting to hinder his lap times. He was pushing a lot faster than Niels, maybe in order to catch up, but it looks like at the moment he's still got that pace behind him. He's going to have to find a move, though, because he is getting really close to the back end of that Audi in front of him.
Best overtaking opportunity is probably going to be the back straight. Can't see him getting much done through the S's.
Yeah, so after turn 13, maybe making a run up in the chicane of 14, 15, you might be able to make a move there. But definitely, as we've seen it already on track tonight, up into turn 1, definitely overtaking possibilities, and maybe even into turn 8. We've seen a few guys try to make opportunistic moves there, but not make them really work out. So we'll see, but I'm expecting a move, especially probably through turn number 1.
Yeah, turn 1's scary. Downhill braking zone's not a fun place to try and late brake. You're carrying so much momentum.
Definitely, it definitely is very scary and can get caught out with the slightest of mistakes there. But yeah, that's
let's see now. Uphill, still not being able to close up quite enough. He might have to wait another few laps here before he can actually close up. But he's always like right on his bumper out of the last turn there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he really has the straight line speed though with Nils at the moment. Just maybe getting a little bit better of an exit there than Seibel. Maybe Seibel's compromising himself just a little bit. Nils going a little bit defensive, too deep into turn 1 though. Oh, and this might be Seibel's chance, but a little bit of contact there on the outside might have cost him an opportunity. These guys are really starting to go at it now.
Yeah, the elbows are well and truly out. Nils really overcooked it. We kind of jinxed it there when we said downhill braking zone. He kind of started to step on the pedal just a touch late there.
Yeah, but as I said, just a slight mistake there, and you can really get caught out, and he nearly did. I mean, Seibel was going to have that move done, but I don't think he was expecting Nils to be that slow out of turn 1.
Kind of one of the unfortunate characteristics of racing cars. Sometimes the guy in front of you might be faster, but he's not fast when you need him to be.
That is very true indeed. Oh, as unfortunately, it looks like as everything was running very smoothly here, we're going to go back very quickly. As we just had ACC want to crash on us, but we'll get right back into the race in the final stages here.
Do not worry, folks. I've got eyes on all the action. I can give you a audio narration here. Nils leading Seibel down the back straight here. I know you can't see what I'm seeing, but the gap's still just about under 1 second. The two Lexuses, the Lexi, if you will, kind of cruising out in front, just trying to get these cars home. A bit like that JJ the jet plane meme. Oh, but Seibel's going to try and stick it around the outside into the final turn here. He's going to try to stick that, but Nils still keeping that inside line, forcing Seibel wide. Seibel losing a lot of the traction out of the final corner there. He will have to tuck back into the slipstream here and maybe hope for another mistake into turn 1. Nils going a little defensive. Earlier on the brakes this time, learning his lesson after the last lap. Seibel's going to close up right on the rear bumper. Into the loop. Let's see. Staying nice and tidy. Jay Warren starting to feel the hairs on his neck stand up now. That Audi and the McLaren very much in his rearview mirror. Right past the stadium now. Let's see who's going to get the better run. Nils staying just a touch in front. Seibel really doing his darndest, that's for sure. But at any rate, despite the battle, it seems as though Nils and Seibel inadvertently have actually caught up to the Mercedes despite a lot of the argy-bargy. So very interesting to see how this will all play out in the final stages here. 22 minutes to go here, folks. This is PPR Esports GT3 Division Sunday Series, Nurburgring.
Fights. Unfortunately, having to crash here very late is not what you may want.
I don't know if you could hear me, Nick, but Sable tried to stick one around the outside at the final corner.
Yeah, we've just been trying to work out. Of course, the ACC was crashing at the on screen, but should be able to get back here very quickly. Yeah, at the moment, I believe we have about 25 minutes remaining in the race.
Got 20 minutes and 50 seconds on my screen, and Niels and Sable are now actually about to overtake Jay Warren. 20 minutes to go here. Those tires are well and truly dead, and they're about to completely roll him into the heading down into the hairpin now. Niels has got all the momentum behind him and the fresh rubber. Sable also probably just going to let Niels kind of Moses effect his way through and hope to kind of pip the Lexus in a very timely fashion so they can get back to fighting for the lead. But in front of them, let's see here, folks. Walker, almost a whole 2 sectors in front of these guys. So very, very interesting to see if he can hold on to that gap. He's got about, we'll call it, let's see here, 35 laps into this race. If I can get an interval read here. We'll call it like 15 seconds at the moment, but back straight now. Niels in the slipstream of Jay Warren, followed by Sable. Warren going very defensive. Back to the racing line now. Niels not thinking about the inside. Sable going to stick behind this train. Let Niels do all the work for him. I don't really blame the guy. Save his rubber. Final turn now. Warren early on the brakes there. All the cars concertinaing up. Sable going to take a very wide line, dip 2 wheels onto the dirt. That's not what you want, folks, if you're trying to stick in the race, stick in the battle for the lead. Warren, though, sticking to the left-hand side of the track. Niels not getting too crazy. Warren kind of parking the car there right in the middle of the apex. Niels going to try to go around the outside. Now he's going to have the inside line for the next turn. Warren going to go defensive, shut the door right in his face through turn 2. Now into the loop. Let's see. Niels up the inside. That's move done. Warren, no life from those tires. Could do nothing to defend there. And now Sable is going to go around the outside of him into turn 4 past the stadium. There you have it, folks. The Lexus master plan is dead. Long live Lexus. Jokes aside, though, Sable and Niels still in the fight here with quite a few cars in between them and their ultimate goal. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 back markers between them and Walker, who has been out in front for the majority of the second half of this race. But again, as we saw with Jay, well, maybe not as saw, maybe you heard with Jay Warren, unfortunately the overcut was not the optimal strategy today, and the fresh rubber does really pay dividends here at the end of the race when everyone's just trying to get their car across the finish line. Of course, these back markers are not duty. They are not racing for positions. So they are duty bound to get out of the way of the cars on the lead lap. Niels now lapping at about 156. Same with Sable. Have a look at Walker. Walker's doing about 156 himself. So he looks like Walker's done a very good job to keep that rubber alive. How's the ACC looking on your end, Nick?
Unfortunately, our broadcasting has completely crashed. So we're going to have to take a brief break here. Hopefully we can get it back up.